Hi everyone, this is a video and recording for your PowerPoint on solution-focused brief therapy and motivational interviewing. I know we're talking about those in the advanced techniques class, so that often makes it a little bit easier for everyone because they're overlapping. This bubble of me right here is distracting me. I am videotaping this with my face. I upgraded my Screencast-O-Matic, and I know I can do this with Teams as well, but this is easier. So that you could have my face teaching you as well. So solution-focused brief therapy is what we've just talked about in the other class. It is future-focused and it's oriented mainly for goals. It is a really great modality for brief therapy and makes it really adaptable for group. It works because, as you can see, it's very simple to use. It's very easy to flip into this in a group model, and often we have only so many sessions with an individual for group, so you could get some work done if you use brief solution-focused therapy with clients in a group setting. Remember, it's solution-focused. We're looking at it strength-based. We're looking at exceptions to times that they had the problem. We're looking at times they didn't have the issue and they were successful, and we're expanding on that versus focusing on the problem. This is a solution-focused therapy. So you meet them presently. It's very egalitarian. We operate under the assumptions when we're leading a group and we're a brief solution-focused therapist that our clients are resilient and they have what it takes to make it. They have everything they need, all the resources they need to be successful. And they can construct their own solutions based on their lives and their histories. And we should believe that they have that capacity. Very positive. We believe all individuals are healthy and competent. The past is really downplayed. And again, we're focused on the future focus. Miracle question, what is working, not what's not working. What is working? What has worked? What has worked will then give us data for what will work in the future. We do the same things that we do and we're learning in the other class. And hopefully no matter when I teach this video will go correctly, that you're doing advanced tech at the same time you're learning group. But those two go hand in hand when the chapters line up. So the same is true here in group therapy. So we're assisting our group members in finding exceptions to the problem. There's a huge shift in problem orientation to that solution focus. And I already said all that, but solution talk can give us the assumption that a group can be brief. And when we focus on success, it can lead to great change for the client. When we focus on the problems too much, that can have the opposite effect. It is important to consider exceptions to every problem or times when the problem was minimal or absent. Group members often present only one side of themselves. So in a group setting, they're encouraged to examine the other side of the story when they're present. More basic assumptions of solution-focused brief therapy is that no problem is constant and change is inevitable. That if our clients can make small changes, then they can make bigger changes. And it really lends itself to brain therapy as well. If you think about it with say, EMDR, every time a small association occurs that's positive versus negative, it strengthens that association for positive versus negative. So clearly there's some brain science behind this as well. As far as, of course, a few small changes can make way for a much larger change. You believe the best in your clients. When you're a solution-focused brief therapist, you're in the group, you're cooperative, every individual is unique, and their solutions to their problems are unique. There's not a one-size-fits-all combination for the client. We, as group leaders, adopt a not knowing position. We don't, not the expert. We don't know. So if you think about your test in the future and things such as that, a question could be that which modality or which theory adopts a not knowing position, and this would be the answer. Members think about their future and what they want to, how they want to be different in their lives. So Group leaders are not the experts. The client's expert. How many times are we going to say that there? The slides. I don't love these slides. So as the leader, you're setting a very positive tone for this type of group. You believe inherently that your clients have what it takes to make the solutions in their life. Sorry, I keep having people interrupt me while I'm trying to record this. But when your clients come to group, they often have a very negative mindset. And so you reorienting them to the positive and to really enhancing the fact that they even came to group and looking for those exceptions to the problem and helping set that tone and helping them to set SMART goals for group will really start to help build that environment that you want for your group. You're really helping your clients find the other side of the problem as well as the other side of it. Also, really believing in people that they want to change and that the group will want to change, and you help the whole group in goal setting and encouragement and motivation, and then using that exception to the problem to help illustrate that there are in fact times that they did not have this going on in their lives. The clear defined goals, of course, are SMART goals. They're structured in the here and now. They're positive, they're in the client's language, they're action-oriented goals, right? They can't be too ambiguous. They must be actionable, attainable, concrete, and timed and controlled by the client. We all know that. We've learned it so many times. When you're leading this type of therapy, termination is always on your mind because it's brief. And so termination has to be in your mind. So from the very first session, you have to think about termination. The way that you do that is helping people with that future focus of you're already focused on them. They're not going to be in here forever. So another way that you would do the future template for them that I do in EMDR is you come up with barriers and you reality test, if you will. And, what are some things that could hinder your progress in the future and how will you address that? And then you play that out and you talk it out and you work it out in group, perhaps even act it out if you wanted to pull in psychodrama and pull in a different modality to go deeper. But that's that future orientation, future focus. That's also in EMDR, which is really funny. There's a lot of brief solution focus in EMDR. I say that all the time. I'm teaching that a class right now on The Body Keeps the Score. And so I'm talking a lot about this right now in other tapes for another class. So, one of the last things that you do in EMDR is a future template, a future focus, and that's solution focus brief therapy is what that is. You do use questions in solution focus brief therapy, and those questions that you ask are from a not knowing stance that you don't really, as a group leader, know the answer already. You ask to get to know the participant better and to assess exceptions to the issue, find resilience, find other ways that the client has been successful in their lives and really illustrate and highlight that. Examples of that. How have things changed since the last group? How could things be different? How did you do that? That's a closed question, but how did you do that? So maybe they come back and they say, I overcame my fear of going outside and I went to the grocery store. Tell us how you did that. How did you do that? And then really highlighting the strengths of them being able to use what they've learned and get out of the house. So really, really important to really praise, almost like an MI, that you're really highlighting all the positive things that the client has done and even very small, the fact that they got out and came to group. You came here today. Tell us more about how you got here today. Effective questions help you focus on effective solutions. So also questions help the client to notice when things were better, because we're so negatively focused. To tell me of the exception questions, tell me about a time when things weren't so, you weren't so depressed. Was there a time in your life when you don't recall being this depressed? It can really help them focus on another time in their life that they perhaps have forgotten about. Often our clients will forget that they were ever successful in life, because when you're in such a negative place and your nervous system's so out of balance and you're possibly in collapse, your polyvagal system is just completely collapsed, then, it's hard to focus on the times that were good because they seem so far away, and you may not even remember them because you're stuck in limbic, and those might not be accessible to you. So you can really open up your clients' minds in remembering times that they've been successful, times that they have been happier, calmer. I have clients that have never really experienced calm, but then we find out that yes, they have in fact experienced them. They didn't know what to call it. So sometimes just asking those questions opens up a whole host of possibilities. The techniques are the same in group pretty much as they are in individual. You have the pre-therapy change, exception questions, and the miracle question. The pre-therapy change is exactly what it sounds like. It can be from the time that you scheduled to come into this group or from session to session. Also can be, I just asked that a second ago, what's changed from last week or from the beginning of therapy or before therapy. Those are always good questions to ask. Okay, this was not working. Now it is. Okay. Phew. I don't know what happened. It scared me for a minute. I thought what I had recorded was going to go away, which is never a good thing. So you can use these exception questions any way you want to. There's lots of different ways you can ask these questions. Tell me about times that things were going well. Tell me about times that you felt calmer. Is there a time where you felt happier? Tell me more. I would say tell me, because if you do an is question, they may say no. Tell me more about these times. Tell me more about these times. And then of course you have the famous miracle question you could use. If a miracle happened overnight and your problem disappeared and you woke up, what would that look like? What would be different? And then expanding on that from there and using that as a group activity could be really beneficial. And if you haven't done your group yet, your group experience, you could certainly do that kind of intervention if you wanted to. We also have scaling questions, formula first session task, and group leader feedback to group members. The scaling questions are kind of exactly what they sound like. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much better are you from how much has your anxiety gone down since before making the phone call to signing up for group, and now? Any kind of scaling question is helpful and provides meaning and gives some kind of feedback for clients. The formula first session task is a kind of homework in Brewster. You're observing in your life between session 1 and 2 of the group what you would like to continue seeing happen. What is good? What is going well? Almost a gratitude journal, if you will, but like really what is happening in your life that is actually going. Group members are asked to share in the session and that facilitates group. That's your activity. And then how are you going to make sure you continue to focus on those in the future? Things that you want to continue to see happening. And group leader feedback to group members is instrumental in this group activity. And group leader feedback really focuses on compliments, a bridge, and suggesting a task. In solution-focused brief therapy, the compliments are genuine affirmations of what the clients are already doing, exceptions that are leading them to effective solutions. The compliments are encouragement. They create hope. They're not condescending. They're very, very positive. I was impressed with the courage you showed. Second, a bridge, which is on the identified exceptions. What the bridge does is link the compliment with a task to carry out, something that for the client to work on. We're suggesting tasks. We also talked about how important it is to learn as much as we can about those times when we can speak up. So you're bridging it with that and suggesting a task. The third aspect, an example in your text, the third aspect of feedback consists of suggesting tasks to clients, which being considered as homework. Observational tasks could be pay attention to some aspects of their lives, like the formula first homework task. Between now and the next meeting, pay close attention to the time you speak up, to the time to make note of anything different, anything changing in your life between now and then. There's also something that we do in EMDR every session. What's changed? This is a great modality for schools and for brief encounters. It's very time effective, collaborative, very positive. When you have a large caseload, this is really good. Community mental health, this is really helpful. As if you only have 2 sessions, at least you can get something accomplished versus nothing. So I think this has a place for all of us and is very important for all of us. It focuses on the positive strength-based needs of the students. If you're in schools, very clear, easy to learn, helps a lot. It is an ideal approach for diverse populations because it's very collaborative and egalitarian. It's very much talking about the positive things that have happened with the client, but you also want to be careful that you don't minimize things that they have, people have been through. So what challenges, examples of questions you could pose to clients that would help bridge a gap is, what challenges have you faced growing up in your culture? How have you been able to draw on strengths and resources from your culture? I will say the very same things that make this a strength for culture diversity can make it also a limitation, because if you did need to be the expert for a certain population, it could be problematic if you weren't acting like the expert. And so it's really just a knowing your client base and understanding what your client needs or your clients in a group, so that you're not causing any harm. Certain populations may not appreciate you not being the expert or not being in charge. So MI, humanistic, client-centered. It's a brief intervention that was originally designed for problem drinking. It is applied to a wide range of problems now. MI is very cost-effective. It is evidence-based. It's very relational, very much about reflective listening and understanding. Drawing discrepancies. The discrepancy statements between behavior and values are examined to increase motivation. So just like we learned in the other classes, value card sort. These 5 values, you have to whittle it down to spirituality, family, friends, etc. So how is your drinking impacting those things? And so you're developing discrepancies between values and actions and trying to help resolve the ambivalence that the client has about change and moving them through those stages of change, all the while promoting self-efficacy and that the client is in charge of that change. And I've flipped back into this with some of the second years because they had, with some of their problematic clients, because this is such a great way, both of these modalities, when you have highly resistant clients, focusing on their strengths and assessing where they are in these 5 stages of change. Proska and de Clemente's trans-theoretical model of change with pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance. Remember, no way, not now, pre-contemplation, well, maybe contemplation, I'm getting ready, preparation, I'm doing it, action, then me, maintenance are good little tricks to remembering it. These are concepts common to both solution-focused and MI. They're social constructionist. They believe that our knowledge is built upon and our experiences are built throughout our life and constructs our realities, and there's multiple things impacting that. Clients' resistance prevents understanding. And so if we match that, then we don't collaborate. So we have to dance and not wrestle. We believe that clients are well and have what it takes to get well. Our clients are our allies. We are in this together, and they're both strengths-based, where we really want to look at their strengths and resources, and it's time sensitive. Evaluation of solution-focused brief therapy groups. It rests on optimistic assumption that people are competent. It focuses on possibilities rather than limitations, and it's pathologizing. There we go. Questions, open-ended questions are kind of the hallmark of it. The limitations are there, of course. We must quickly make assessments and assist members in making goals. What if they can't? It may be difficult for inexperienced leaders to think about the techniques and the questions that they need to ask and then build alliances or rapport with the group. MI is very effective. Brief solution focus is effective as well. It's very effective. However, the limitations, it doesn't address everything, especially with trauma. It does work well with all of that, but eventually you have to do something else. And that is based on brain research. You have to go deeper. And if someone comes in and you use this in the wrong way, it could come off as condescending, and you don't want to do that. You want to value. If you're trying to debrief solution focus and someone comes in and tells you about a time they were raped and you said, well, can you tell me a time that wasn't happening to you? I mean, they would hopefully slap you. So, if you have students or new clinicians who don't really understand how to follow the client, and they're stuck in this modality and thinking that they're always going to focus on the positive and the exceptions, it would be problematic. It's clearly you need to be with your client in the moment, have empathy and compassion and all of Roger's core conditions, and work on goals, and then, eventually come back to the exception, but not to that issue, right? So, we're done. Well, this was a fresh new video for me, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. It's always so weird talking to yourself, but I'm gonna upload it.